3, but I think, like you said, when I evaluated it in the end, if I just took away the finish, it was a 3-star match. So that's what I'm going to stick with, because I feel like the next one they do, I think they are building towards that Hell in a Cell match, hopefully. So that will be much better.
Yeah. Okay. What I got down on my notes: Jon Stewart was shown in the crowd. Our favourite, Matt, from the time we went there when he was hosting it. I'm sure you remember that, Matt. With our mutual friend, he was a big fan of him, wasn't he? So yeah, he was there in the crowd. Yeah, he was there. So next up, we have the Money in the Bank on the line. I mean, I don't know what you call this, but yeah, they're treating it like a title. If you win it, you get it, and all the rest of it. This match between Braun Strowman and KO himself, Kevin Owens. And not a long one. It was, a lot of people, got a lot of emails saying they didn't like this. They did not like the idea of a squash. And I might get some heat for this, but I think if Kevin Owens clearly wasn't winning this tonight, I mean, after seeing this last night, he definitely wasn't winning. And I thought, well, it's not like Kevin Owens, they've even got anything for him. So you've got to have one of these guys, whoever's going to go on with this, look credible so that you might believe that they can do some damage for a title. So although it was a squash match, I do think it made some logical sense. The only disappointing thing is that it had to be Kevin Owens was on the receiving end of it, and he's been involved in this feud where he's literally, his character has gone from sort of tough nut, bully who took on all challenges as a heel, but didn't really sort of run away from anybody, certainly not. But now he's gone to that cowardly heel stage, and I remember so many guys have gone through. So I remember Randy Orton having this stint when he was champion once. It was awful. But now it looks like Kevin Owens has gone into that. Obviously, this match just under 2 minutes. Braun Strowman, completely dominated. I don't remember Kevin Owens get anything in on this, so it was that one-sided. What did you make of it, Matt? What's your assessment of this one?
Yeah, I feel like I fall on the side of people that didn't enjoy this match because, just like you said, Kevin Owens, he's got so much talent, and he is more than capable of holding a title. So it's a bit of a dry patch for him right now, and it's a shame because it's when you've got a guy like him on your roster, you should make the most of it. And putting him in a feud like this really isn't. And well, we said many times before that it's not always a bad thing to not have people appear at a pay-per-view. Sometimes it leaves your options open a little bit. Sometimes you can actually freshen up a feud by introducing a new character. You don't just have to constantly have someone on TV just to have people remember them. People aren't going to forget. So I feel like if he'd missed this pay-per-view, it might have been the better for him because it was almost like a completely different guy. We saw him have a good match against Braun in the cage, and he took a beating and paid his dues there, and it showed you how tough the guy is. So to come out and have this kind of thing go on, it was only serving a purpose to make Braun look good. But, he's already over the fans, so it really doesn't make that much difference for that character. So for me, if I was going to rate this, I'd give it a 1 star. Yeah,
I can't even rate it, to be honest with you. So, I'm gonna give this an NA on this one because it is what it is. Again, lots of matches this night. I knew there were going to have to be a couple like this. But like I say, I mean, you've got to get Braun. Braun obviously is a chosen guy here. You've got to get him. He's been terribly used. He's more of a comedy act. So, if anything, at least somebody came out with something because it could have been worse, and actually both of them come out with nothing here. But I do feel like they had to put their eggs in one basket with this one. The only disappointing thing for me is, and I'll say this at the end, Matt, is I do think there was a plan and a reason for this happening now, and unfortunately it has nothing to do with Kevin Owens or Braun Strowman's benefit, and we'll talk about that later. But I do think there was a plan, a side plan as to why this match even occurred. And I think it was just to get everybody talking away from something else. But we'll talk about that more as we go on. So yeah, it's a bit of a shame, that one, but just a 2-minute match. Unusual in today's climate, obviously, but there you go. So next up, Matt, got to move on very quickly from that. We have the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship. The champion Carmella going in up against Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. They did a video package for this, sort of really showing how much Becky Lynch is, this is her dream, and how much she's had to wait to get this and all the rest of it. And we get into the match. Just under 15 minutes. Certainly got a decent time on it. Triple threat, never always my favourite, but I felt like this was booked just right. I think that the fans, were by this point really wanted Becky to win. I think that was the cool thing, that all the parts were in the right place. Obviously, Charlotte got some heat. But I don't think that was a bad thing. I think that worked perfectly into the execution of this. But Matt, before we talk about the ending and all the rest of it, what did you make of the match itself? Because sometimes these women's triple threat matches, although we like to praise the women coming on quite along, sometimes these triple threat matches, Matt, and it doesn't matter who you have in there, can be a little bit of a cluster. This I thought was pretty decent, especially with someone like Carmella, who isn't the most well-versed wrestler that they have in that roster. So what did you make of it?
Yeah, and personally I like to be surprised in wrestling matches, and this definitely surprised me as well. I enjoyed this a lot more than I thought I probably should.
Yeah.
I thought like all the main good parts of the match would be contested between Charlotte and Becky, but it wasn't. To my surprise, Carmella was involved at all the right times, and it just makes me believe now that where she might not be quite up to speed wrestling wise as the other two, her mind for the business is getting a lot sharper. Like she actually can read things in the ring a lot better.
Yeah.
And actually, when they did that whole thing, and they did that when she snapped on the back of the head and was trying to turn them against each other, that was some good actual ideas that they were coming out with there. So I'm kind of liking her character a little bit more, and that's a awkward time considering she just dropped the championship, that we can see that actually maybe she has got another dimension to her. But it is what it is, and I feel like the match was actually pretty good. Like I said, all the right spots at the right times, and nice little twist at the end of it for everyone, because I didn't see that coming, I got to say.
Yeah, it certainly was.
At the end of the match, when I didn't see Charlotte win it, is actually what I meant to say, because I thought this was Becky's night. But after that, the turn, you could feel it bubbling up, and I think that's why the fans were all so accepting of it, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, let's just get to that point now. I mean, the end of the match, I mean, it was really built well, and you were kind of like, man, like I think they were trying to get across Becky's been hard done by here, and Charlotte Flair's just got added to this match. That makes it even more hard done, and then the way it all finished, that's the picture they painted. So really well executed there by WWE, and whoever was the agent that booked that was perfectly done. Charlotte Flair winning match. I mean, the fans were pissed. They wanted Becky. They were booing Charlotte by this point because they wanted Becky to have been the winner. But here's my thing on this. I'm not so disappointed that Becky didn't win this, and I know we've had a lot of emails going, what is up with WWE not going with Becky? Like, it should have been her turn. I've got to be honest with you. The problem is, even if Becky won at SummerSlam, Matt, I mean, I think you know where I'm coming from here. We know it's a bit like that time when Brock didn't have the Universal Championship, but he was still around, and you kind of just thought to yourself, he's the biggest, decentest wrestler they've got. Like, nobody seems to be able to beat him, but he's not champion, but obviously he should be. And I kind of feel like the same sort of situation would have happened here for Becky, as long as, because you know they are building Charlotte here. Now, one way or another, Charlotte is the one they seem to put all their eggs in one basket with a lot of the times. And so I feel by having Charlotte win this now just finishes that, because if you have Becky winning this night, I just think you know she's just going to be a transitional champion. I mean, I really do. I think you can, in the back of your mind, just believe that she might have it for about 3 or 4 months, but then it's going to Charlotte regardless. So I feel like having it this way round makes the chase that much more better, and especially from the angle they're going to play it at now as well. And I think the catch will be even more greater, because again, this chase will go on and on. And you know, I feel like that one-on-one match, that is the perfect time to win your first title, in my opinion. Because then, and up against the very best. So that's just my point of view. I get why people wanted to see Becky win it last night and that be her night because of the story they told. But again, you've got to remember that was done almost intentional to get you like that. So remember that, folks. You know, don't be too hard done by there, because again, I just feel Charlotte, WWE, you know, after WrestleMania, for whatever reason, they had Carmella cash in, and I thought that was ridiculous in itself. I knew that Charlotte was getting that belt back. I knew she would be, and if it wasn't last night, Matt, it would have been, you know, 2-3 months down the line. Now, what we've got is Charlotte with the belt and an opportunity now for Becky Lynch to, you know, go up against Charlotte, but not only go up against her, but she may actually win the title from Charlotte by being on her level. So it'll be a different perspective now of this, and you know, anything could happen, because you know, it could be that Charlotte, you know, enters the Rumble, and that's the way she gets to, you know, the match that everyone's been talking about. A bit like we were talking about Roman and Brock from last year. It's very much been keyed into us about Rousey and Charlotte. So I just think that Becky has a much more better chance now of cementing something after this. I just hope they don't do what they done to Shinsuke Nakamura, because it did remind me of that a little bit, and I thought, oh no, even though she's got the heel change after it and she didn't win the match, I was like, at that time I was thinking, this is great for Nakamura, this is the best thing that could have ever happened to him. Now I'm regretting that I said that, that's for sure, because it didn't go anywhere after that, which is ridiculous. But obviously, what happened after the match, Matt, you know, there were some cuddles, and then all of a sudden, Becky Lynch, she does that turn, the turn of the night, I guess, that we can speak about. And, you know, obviously they're trying to tell that story of old friends and how that went down. What did you make of that whole storytelling after the match, Matt, and did you see it coming?
Yeah, I'm surprised at WWE going down this path, because this is a complex story to tell. It's not just as simple now as she's good, she's bad, because, you know, the fans all there on the night understood this, and that's why Charlotte was getting the boos despite being the face, and Becky was getting the cheers despite being the heel. So we're all a bit muddled here, and I'll be interested to see how Becky's character turns out. Well, are they going to go full blown heel with her? Because I'm just not convinced that's the best thing for her, because we've seen her heel back in the NXT days, yeah, sure, but since then, during her time on SmackDown, she's become one of the most kind of adored and appreciated female wrestlers that they have in the company. I can't think of any time I've heard anyone say anything negative about her. Most of the time, everyone are praising her and actually her likeable character and her nature. So to just sort of go against that is a little bit of a surprise to me when they have other options for women who they can play as heels. But it will be a good rivalry between her and Charlotte, I'm sure of that. I just felt like it would be the other way around. I felt that Becky would be the champion and Charlotte would be the one chasing the title. But, you know, like mixing it up and being unpredictable is, of course, the enjoyable part of it, and I'll be looking forward to see where they go with this. But match-wise, like I said before, the match was really good, and for me, almost a 4 stars. But I'm going to go 3.5 because, you know, I don't know, there was something a little bit lacking. So almost a 4 though.
Yeah, I've gone for 3.5 in that one as well. And just to add to what Matt was saying there, I would like to see, rather than full blown heel, I'd just rather an internal feud. Just have them the way they are because of their history, and just let the fans decide. Because I think there's something better out of that than anything else. And you never know where things go. Normally, there's a natural progression there. So if you let it go, could work out better for both of them, but we'll see how that goes. But it was a nice surprise, that match, because I did fear it a little bit, especially